Hello, thank you so much for joining me here today. I just wanted to share with all of you some things that Montessori directors or directresses encompass, or at least in our training, Maria Montessori encourages us to encompass these things. Within the prepared environment, she talks about an aesthetic sense of beauty. So it's important that you, as a director or directress, that's what we're known as. We're also called Montessori guides. So if you hear a teacher being called a director, that means it's the guide of the classroom, the lead teacher, the main person giving the lessons. Aesthetic beauty is important in the prepared environments. The classrooms are always beautifully maintained. Practical life is always beautifully maintained. The colors, just the vibrancy, it's meant to be very attractive to the child. So, one thing you need to keep in mind is that your children are always modeling themselves after you. So it's important that you, as their guide and director, model yourself in such a way as to present beauty, poise, grace, and courtesy. Some of the things that a director is encouraged to encompass are hygiene, personal hygiene. You want to take care of yourself. Self-care. Self-care is absolutely priceless. It's important to have a morning routine. My morning routine, though it changes because I'm not perfect, some days I don't get to all the stuff I'd like to, but some of the things that I like to do in my morning routine are about 15 minutes of meditation. So I have what's called monkey brain. A lot of us do. And sometimes it's difficult for me to focus on one thing and control my thoughts. So if I meditate in the morning, it's easier for me to concentrate throughout the day. And I can learn to calm myself and control my reaction to particular situations. Another thing that I do in the morning is yoga. I absolutely love yoga. Those of you who know me know that. I did this amazing restorative yoga class here in Prescott. Prescott is primarily retired people, and so it was very slow. I loved feeling the sensation in the positions instead of rushing through it. It was very impactful for me. So I do my own routine at home, and I stay in the positions as long as my body needs to. It feels so good. Another thing that I do is pay attention to my diet. Right now, I'm working on readapting the keto lifestyle. They call it healthy keto, just primarily vegetables, and paying attention to when I feel hungry, paying attention to my own inner needs. I was drinking a whole lot of water, and I found out that I could have been diluting some nutrients within my body, so I've cut back a little bit on that. Grace and courtesy. I do my best to model grace and courtesy for my son, and for any, people who I come in contact with. In the morning, I also listen to a motivational video. I love Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins. They just happen to have the same last name. And Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, Louise Hay, a lot of different motivational speakers out there. You choose what feels good for you. And 10 minutes. My morning routine is not more than an hour. And I do my best to do that before Greg wakes up, so that that's me time and I can concentrate, so that, let's say you are going into a classroom with 25 to 30 children. Or I've seen some AMS classrooms with upwards of 50 children. If you have an entire host, an entire, what's the word? an entire group of assistants that you're responsible for, let's say 4 or 5 of them in the classroom, and you need to be present for them, and you need to be able to calm yourself and guide them. It's important that you prepare yourself for the day. Poise. I realized that as I was raised, my dad was always go, 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 go. And in our culture, it seems like it's okay for men to be go, 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 go. This is just a perception of mine. But when women are go, 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 it's more like masculine energy, kind of the action energy, you know? And I tend to be more on that side of things. And so it's important for me to calm myself down, redirect myself, take some big breaths, and find some peace in what I'm doing. Another thing that I like to do in the morning is the Wim Hof breathing. You can look it up. He's a Swedish man who hiked, I want to say Mount Eldon, but that's here in Flagstaff. He hiked one of the highest peaks in a pair of shorts in ice and snow. It's amazing. So he believes that he can control his immune system with his mind. And he encourages cold showers and a breathing method where you do 30 short breaths and then you breathe out at the end. Hold your breath for as long as you can. Breathe in and then hold your breath a little bit longer. You do 3 cycles of that and then see how you feel. And you can do that throughout the day if you end up in a stressful situation. It helps me to recenter myself. This isn't part of my daily routine, but another thing that I really enjoy doing is Qigong. I go to a clinic here in Flagstaff and they realign my chakras, and they talk about, I'm still learning about it. It's so fascinating. They talk about how there's a boiling plate inside you and it runs hot or cold. And I noticed after one of my treatments that I felt like it was easier for me to stand more in line, if that makes sense, like realign myself with source energy and just stand up taller. It felt like my posture wasn't, usually I have to be a little bit mindful of my posture and think about it, but it was easier for me to just stand up, and it felt so good standing straight up. Felt so good. Another one of the things that it's important to pay attention to is your concentration as well. It's important for the children to model themselves after you. So you want to organize your day in such a way so that you can have large periods of concentration throughout the day and do your best to minimize any interruptions that are within your control. Obviously, if there's an emergency, that's an exception, but do your best to minimize these interruptions so that you're able to concentrate in front of your children and they can see that concentration. It's beautiful. When you're working in the classroom, if you've given a large number of lessons, it took me, because I was a new teacher, it took me between 9 and 12 months to normalize my classroom. No, forgive me, 7 to 8 months, because by the end of the year, it was beautifully normalized. In a normalized classroom, you can leave the classroom and the children will still be concentrating so beautifully. It's remarkable to watch. And so I remember observing in the last month, and they were just working away. It was really beautiful. So if you've normalized your classroom and you've gotten to that point where they're all working independently, you can begin working on some things within your classroom, and they can see that concentration within you, whether it's observations and taking notes, or record keeping, or just taking some time to observe the children and determine where they're at and what they need from you. So that about sums up our video for today. Please always feel free to ask a Montessorian. Let me know if you have any questions. And as my son loves to remind me, Mom, you're supposed to say click like and subscribe. So please remember to click like and subscribe if you liked this video and you're interested in seeing any more content that you can use, whether it's in your Montessori classroom or in your home as a family. Thank you again for joining me here today, and I wish you all a wonderful year.